Welcome to The Division, and in this video I am going to be talking about character builds. Now, one of the interesting things about The Division is once you get to the end game, in other words, once you get to level 30, what your character is actually wearing becomes really important. And for some, this is going to be an absolute joy, you know, building up their character, selecting the right gear and focusing on that aspect of the gun. And for others, maybe a little bit confusing and a little bit perplexing, at least at first. And to be honest, it was for me. Now, the big game changer, if you like, I'm going to show you my inventory and the equipped gear, are things called gear sets. When you get to level 30 and your gear score starts to go up and you start doing all of your little, I say little, but you find that as well as yellow drops, you'll start getting these dark green drops, and each piece is part of a set. Now you can have your whole character equipped with the whole set, if you like, but if you look at the gear, you only actually need 4 pieces of one set to get the set bonus, and each of these gear sets have unique set bonuses. Now there's an awful lot of advice on YouTube, and I think the most in-depth one I've seen is from a guy called Skill Up, which you can look up on YouTube. I'll put the link in, if I remember, in the description. He goes very much into a lot of depth about these things, but I wanted to make a video about how I have constructed my character so far and why I felt my selections were a bit better than some of the other advice I was picking up from YouTube. But you see, this is where the game gets really interesting, because everybody has a certain viewpoint about what you should be wearing in what particular event you're doing, whether you're going into the dark zone or you're going to be doing the incursions, which are very tough. They're all in challenging mode, which is the toughest level, or you're going to be doing some underground, which I'm going to be doing in a minute to demonstrate the gear sets at work. And Skillup had described the Alpha Bridge set as being particularly useful. Now it is in one respect. If you look at the set bonus, what it says, if your primary and secondary weapon is of the same category, they both gain all the unique active talents, which means your primary weapon, the one that you favour the most, will have up to 6 talents rather than 3. And also, as you'll find out, getting the 3 skills unlocked on your weapon can sometimes be a bit fiddly, because it is still to do with the 3 main assets, which are primary DPS, toughness and skill power, and you'll find out that every time you change a piece of gear, it may adversely affect those. Now there are ways around it. If you look, you can modify add modifiers to each piece of gear, and you'll see that on this one, for instance, I have more health and more armor. If I go to my backpack, you'll see that I have a little bit of skill haste and more turret damage, because I didn't have any other modifiers to put on. But some of them, like this one, is very useful. This prototype stamina mod gives me much more skill power and raised my skill power, which means that on my main weapons I'm still doing a lot of balancing. So my rifle, you see, doesn't have the intense talent unlocked, because I need more of the electronic score, and the warlord doesn't have ferocious unlocked at the moment, because again the electronic score is down a bit. But this is great because it's always a constant kind of chase quest to get the right elements for your build. And one of the reasons my electronics score went down was because I had tried an alpha bridge build with 4 pieces equipped, and I had 2 assault rifles equipped in my primary and secondary slot. And the Warlord is a very, very good drop. I was very lucky to get it. It's a named weapon, and it only drops in 1 incursion. I think it's Clear Sky. I can't remember which one it was, and I was very lucky to get it at the end. But what I found was that I was missing having a sniper rifle, because obviously auto rifle is much better at short to medium range. Medium range is where it's happiest, really. And not having a good sniper rifle was really difficult when soloing in certain areas, certain situations. So I looked at the other gear sets and I thought, what other gear set would be really good for a solo player who likes to have more damage, if you like, of everything else, and then maybe only use 2 alpha bridges, because even if I only have 2 equipped, I still get plus 100% health regeneration, which is very useful, okay, for keeping you alive. So I decided to use the Striker gear set, and the exciting thing about that was, if you look, it gives every consecutive hit deals 1% more damage, and it stacks up to 100%. Well, that's very useful when you're using an auto rifle, because it has a high fire rate, especially the Warlord. So you stack up quite a lot of percentages, and basically the more you hit your target, and you're being accurate, the more you're going to do damage. Missing shots drops bonus by 2%, bonus is reduced by 1% every second. So with a fire high rate auto rifle, you're not really going to lose that much over the time. And the other 2 good things, it gives you a bit more stability, so your accuracy goes up, and 10% enemy armor damage. So that's what I decided to do, and I managed to get enough parts to equip a 4-piece, and then it was a hunt to get 2 alpha bridges, which I managed to do, so that was very good. And the resulting setup for me really works well, so I'm going to kind of demonstrate now that in action. And with abilities, what I decided to do was I was using very much using this smart cover, which is actually quite a good choice for a solo player, because as you can see, it reinforces the cover that you're in, and cover being very important in this game, increasing weapon performance and damage mitigation for all allies behind it, so that includes yourself. Depending on your modifier, you can have different ones. You can have allies in the area of effect are buffed, or you can allies using a reinforced cover slowly recover their health, and allies using a reinforced cover are hidden from hostile pulses. So this is the one I normally choose, and I decided to switch over to having a turret for extra damage. The other choice is really the main skill, and I tended to leave it on this tactical link because it gives a good boost to damage and weapon performance. It can be very handy at moments. But sometimes you want the recovery link if you're in a group, because it really depends what other people are concentrating on. And this is also very useful, and because this gives you increased damage resistance, speed for group members, grants an emergency health boost. So they all have great utility, and it's quite interesting deciding on which ones you want. So let's go in and see how this build, so to remind you again, the build being 4 pieces of the Striker gear set and 2 pieces of the Alpha Bridge set. So we're doing, this is underground on hard level, and I'll just show you how that we get, give you a preview of the underground as well, because every mission is different. I haven't gone through all of the missions yet. For soloing it, you tend to take your time a little bit more than you would if you had a group. And keeping a pulse is very, very important when you're soloing, because it gives you more information about what's going on. Also, I have a modifier that gives me extra damage to pulsed enemies. So again, more DPS. Constantly picking up things as well. So they all seem to be up above. We can sneak up here. We can always back off if we need to. Now, let's pulse again if it will allow me. They're even higher. They're higher up again. So, okay. This is interesting. The underground is so good because, well, at least at the moment for me, because I haven't explored everything. Now, they've seen me, and I still don't know how to get up. Be very careful here. Pulse again, it will tell me if anybody's at my level. Not at the moment. Yes, now. So what I can do... So now the great thing about having a turret is you can place one on there. Now you'll see... every shot I land, I do more and more damage. It's very, very useful. This assault rifle is extremely good, and I have obviously added things to it that improve its performance. So things like the muzzle, the actual magazine, all of these things. So it's constantly tweaking, and you find new bits and pieces to add and to modify things with. This is also why the pulse is very, very useful. It will highlight dangers and traps. Now I'm thinking what's left is probably a sniper. The snipers tend to hide. For some reason, an awful lot of them are female in this game as well, so... Pulse again. Yeah. I'm going to chase her down. There you go. Okay, so when I activate the generator, I would imagine I get a slew of new enemies.
Hostiles incoming.
That's what I thought. So where they're going to come from, I don't know, but this might be a nice place to haul up. Yep. Now I'd like to put my turret down, but at the moment I'm under suppressed fire here. I can go for it. if I put my turret here, for instance, it acts as a bit of a distraction. Quite tense because I don't know where they are. Maybe below me, you see. Yeah, you can see them all below me. I don't actually want to go down that way if I can avoid it. Okay, so they're there. Oh, it's not allowing me to get into cover there for some reason. Another one down. Okay, that was successful. There's only one left. See, there's a trap there as well. Fantastic stuff. So you can see that this gear set, this striker gear set, really does make a difference to your DPS, because once you're hitting a target, and if you've got a good weapon, whether it's an assault rifle or a submachine gun, whatever you prefer, it really makes a difference. Now with a sniper rifle, if you've got a high rate sniper rifle like the one I have, it's a very good sniper rifle, I was very pleased to get it. It also makes a difference, but not really on slow rate sniper rifles so much. See now, watch this.
Warning,
what you can do,
hostiles have been detected.
this is why turrets are very useful. Not only do they give you cover, but they can act as a distraction. I can come in here and hopefully create. It might have been a bit close, but I was going to say a tunnel of fire. See now with this perk, this gear set perk, every shot that I land with the sniper rifle actually gets more and more powerful. Which is really, as long as I'm not missing, of course. You see, it jumped from 23,000 to 40,000 now. But it'll be harder to get the same kind of effect on the sniper rifle if you've got a slow firing sniper rifle. The music is fantastic. Okay, well I think at that point I've demonstrated enough the build that I'm working on. And it'd be really interesting if you watch this video, if you've got your own kind of builds and you're happy with those, as you could drop me a comment and say how you came to terms with that. Did you learn it from somebody else? Or did you discover it yourself? Did you build it yourself? And what you actually think of the build that I'm running. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Catch you later.